Hello students, in this lecture we'll cover the problems on rectilinear motion at varying acceleration. In the last lecture we had covered the problems of rectilinear motion at constant acceleration as well as certain problems of rectilinear motion at constant velocity. Now, to solve the problems of rectilinear motion at varying acceleration. Rectilinear motion means motion of a particle along the straight line. Varying acceleration means acceleration is not a constant. Very important thing, what we always need to remember that is that if the problem rectilinear motion is at varying acceleration, I mean if acceleration is not constant, equations of motion cannot be applied. We need to solve the problem from basic fundamentals. Now we will use three relations here. One, we know that velocity is the ds by dt. I mean, rate of change of displacement with time is velocity, ds by dt. We also know that rate of change of velocity with time is called as acceleration. We also know that acceleration is v dv by ds, right? V dv by ds. This relationship is arrived by multiplying this relation by ds, multiplying and dividing by ds. So then we get third relation. Now, as acceleration is not a constant, we come across three types of the problems. Why three types of problems we come across? Because we have total four quantities in dynamics. What are the four quantities in dynamics? Acceleration, velocity, displacement, and time. If acceleration is not a constant, then three types of problems will arrive at. One, where acceleration is function of time. Second, where acceleration is function of displacement. Third, where acceleration is function of velocity. Now, to solve the first type of the problem, when acceleration is function of time, we write a is equal to dv by dt. Acceleration is function of time, equated to dv by dt, you will get vt relation. In second type of the problem, when acceleration is function of displacement, we write v dv by ds. Acceleration is function of displacement, we write v dv by ds, and then we get vs relationship is arrived at. Third type of the problem is where acceleration is function of velocity, we write equal to dv by dt if we want vt relation. And we write vd acceleration is equal to v dv by ds if you want vs relation. So in very rigidly, you should remember that if acceleration is function of time, you need to write only acceleration is equal to dv by dt. In the second type, you should write necessarily only v dv by ds. Only in the third type, if acceleration is function of velocity, you can write dv by dt or you can write v dv by ds. It depends on what relation you are looking for. If you are looking for vt relation, write a is equal to dv by dt. If you are looking for vs relation, write acceleration is v dv by ds. So we are ready to start with the type 1 problems. Now, students, this is type 1 problem where acceleration is function of time. What do you mean by acceleration is function of time? It is function of time. That's acceleration is expressed in terms of time, or acceleration is function of time means it is the acceleration is having the expression in terms of t. Now we start with the first problem. I'm reading it. The motion of particle moving in a straight line, that means rectilinear motion, is given by s is equal to t cube minus 3t square plus 2t plus 5, where s is the displacement in meters and t is the time in second. Determine number one, velocity and acceleration after 4 seconds. Second, maximum or minimum velocity and corresponding displacement. Third, time at which velocity is students. Here you are given with s displacement is given to as function of time. S is equal to t cube minus 3t square plus 2t plus 5. We can simply, we all know that v is equal to ds by dt. Just simply differentiate the expression given as t cube means differentiation will be 3t square minus 3t square will become minus 6t and plus 2. Right? Similarly, if you differentiate it further, acceleration is dv by dt, you get it 3t square means 6t minus 6. So this way, s was given function of time, you differentiated once, you got velocity, differentiated one more time, dv by dt, you got acceleration. At t is equal to 4 seconds, now you just substitute the value of t in velocity and acceleration expression, you get velocity as 26 meter per second and acceleration as 18 meter per second square. Now we come to second part. In the second part, he's asking maximum or minimum velocity. As velocity is function of time, for v to be maximum or minimum, first derivative is equated to 0. This is a mathematical part. We all know that if y is function of x, for y to be maximum or minimum, first derivative is equated to 0. That's what we have done it here. dv by dt is nothing but a is function time for v2 maximum minimum dv by dt. dv by dt is nothing but acceleration. dv by dt is nothing but acceleration. So we have equated acceleration 6t minus 6 equal to 0, that is t is equal to 1 second. Now he has asked you to check it whether it is maximum or minimum. So we'll have to test it second derivative also. As students, velocity is function of time dv by dt, acceleration d2 v upon dt square also is to be tested. So dv by dt is 60 minus 6. So d2 v upon dt square will be plus 6. Plus 6 means what? At t is equal to 1 second, velocity is minimum. As second derivative is positive, velocity at t is equal to 1 second is minimum. So we'll just substitute add a value of t as 1 second, and in the velocity expression, which is here, and v minimum will be obtained 3 into 1 square minus 6 into 1 plus 2, that is minus 1. So at t is equal to 1 second, velocity is minimum, and corresponding displacement, put the value of t in displacement expression, you get displacement corresponding displacement. Third part of the problem is that you need to find the time when velocity is 0. Put simply velocity as 0, right? So just velocity expression is equated to 0, you get two values of t, 1.55 second and 0.423. Both the values of t are valid. You'll say in the answer t is equal to 1.577 second and 0.423 second, velocity is 0. Let's move to the next sum. Second sum. Let's read second sum. Identical to the previous one only. The motion of particle is defined by the relation x is equal to x is equal to 3t square minus 10t square plus 26 plus 8, where x is the position expressed in meters and t is the time in second. Determine number 1, time when velocity is 0. Second, position and total distance traveled by the traveled when acceleration becomes 0. Students, the very first thing you are given with what? Displacement in terms of time. So we can find the velocity as dx by dt, 9t square minus 10t plus 20. You can get acceleration also, dv by dt. Just differentiate above expression, you get acceleration. First part, he's asking you to put velocity 0. Velocity expression 9t square minus 20t plus 26 equated to 0. You get imaginary roots. What do you mean by imaginary roots? That means there is no time period when velocity is 0, right? There is no time period. When we solve this quadratic equation, you get t as imaginary roots. Imaginary roots is indicated that there is no time when velocity is 0. Now, second part, he's asking you to find the position and distance traveled when acceleration becomes 0. So put acceleration as 0. Acceleration, we arrived at 18t minus 20 equated to 0. You get t is equal to 1.11 second. At t is equal to 1.11 second, you can find displacement. Just substitute the value of t, you'll get the displacement. Or displacement is equal to distance also here. Why displacement? Displacement and distance are 0 because the particle has not retraced its path. Particle is still moving in the same direction. You have not come across the time when the velocity was 0. That's why displacement and distance will be 0. We had discussed even in the previous lecture also. Even in this lecture also, again, I'm repeating that during rectilinear motion of a particle, displacement and distance will be same as long as particle is moving in the same direction. Let's move to the next sum. Third sum of the same type. Velocity of particle traveling in a straight line is given. V is equal to 6t minus 3t square meter per second, t is in meter per second. And if s is 0 when t is 0, this is a boundary condition given to you. Determine the particle's deceleration and position when t is 1 second. How far the particle traveled during the 3-second time interval and what is average speed. Student, you are given velocity in terms of time. You want to get acceleration expression, simply you need to differentiate velocity expression with respect to t. So you get 6 minus 6. At t is equal to 3 second, acceleration is required. T is equal to 3 second. If you substitute in this expression, acceleration is arrived at minus 12 meter per second square. This is one of the answers what we were looking for. Second part is velocity is function of time. You can write it equal to ds by dt. Separate the terms, integrate both sides. you'll get, when you integrate both sides, you'll get S is equal to 6t square minus 6t square by 2 when you integrate it, minus 3t cube by 3 plus C1. Students, very important. Never forget constant of integration. Sometimes constant of integration is omitted or forgotten by the student. The entire problem becomes wrong. Whenever you are integrated both sides, constant of integration should be taken. Now we'll put boundary condition. What are the boundary condition? He has given S is equal to 0 and T is equal to 0. If you put S and T 0, you get C1 0. So X displacement expression comes like this. At T is equal to 3 second, he is asking for displacement. So we substitute the value of T is equal to 3 second in this expression, which comes out to be 0. That means at T is equal to 3 second, displacement is 0. At T is equal to 3 second, displacement is 0. But he is asking you to find out the distance also covered in that. To find the distance, we'll have to find the time, how long the particle was moving in the same direction. How long the particle was moving in the same direction. Now come to this side. To find the time when the particle is at the point of reversal, put V is equal to 0. We equate velocity is 0, you get 2 time periods, T is equal to 0 and T is equal to 2 seconds. T is equal to 0 indicates the motion starts from rest. T is equal to 2 seconds, S comes out to be 4 meter. That means for 2 seconds, particle was moving in the same direction. And in the next 1 second, particle reversed its direction and came back to same position. So we can understand that displacement in 3 seconds is 0, but distance covered in 3 seconds is 8 meter. How you arrived at? You can just see that for 2 seconds, displacement distance are equal, that is 4 meter. And in the next 1 second, particle comes back to the same point. That means it has traversed the distance of 4 meter. In the third second, that is 1 second. So total distance covered by the particle in the 3 second period is 8. How come? 4 plus 4. And total time is 3. So average speed is total distance upon total time. That is 8 is the total distance. Total time is 3, 2.667 meter per second. All right. Let's move to the next sum. Continue on the same type only. Problems based on acceleration as function of time. The motion of particle is defined by the relation A is equal to 0.80 meter per second square, where T is measured in second. It is found that X is equal to 5 meter, velocity is 12 meter per second, when T is equal to 2 seconds. That means a set of boundary condition is given when T is 2 seconds, X is 5 meter, V is 12 meter per second. Find the position and velocity at T is equal to 6 seconds. Okay. Now we come here. Acceleration is 0.80. Acceleration is function time. We have to necessarily write it equal to dv by dt. Separate terms, integrating both sides. If you integrate, you get velocity is 0.80 square by 2 plus c1. Boundary condition, v is 12 meter per second at t is equal to 2. Substitute into that, you get c1 as 10.4. Substitute it into c1 over here, you get velocity as 0.4 t square plus 10.4. We can write velocity as dx by dt, or ds by dt is one and the same thing. Separate the terms, integrating both sides, you get x is equal to 0.4 t cube by 3 plus 10.4 t plus c2. Again, the boundary conditions are given to you here. Put x is equal to 5 meter, t is equal to 2 seconds. If you substitute all this in this equation, c2 is arrived at. Value of c2 is substituted in this equation, your final displacement expression is arrived at. Now you have arrived at displacement expression, you are arrived at velocity expression. Now you need to put t is equal to 6 seconds in velocity expression, you get velocity as 24.8. And at t is equal to 6 seconds, if you put it into this, you get displacement as 74.33 meters. Okay, we move to the next sum. All right. Now we come to the next problem, that is problem number 5, continued on the same type. Read that. A particle starting with initial velocity and traveling in a straight line has the acceleration of 2 t plus 4 meter per second square, where t is in time in second from start. Distance covered in the first second measured from the starting point is 6.33 seconds. At t is equal to 1 second, distance covered is 6.8. Find initial velocity and distance covered in third second. How do you get distance covered in third second? Distance covered in 3 seconds minus distance covered in 2 seconds. That is a basic fundamental. Now, what is given? Acceleration is function of time, 2t plus 4, right? dv by dt. Separate the terms of velocity and time. Integrate both sides. When you integrate, you get v is equal to 2t square by 2 plus 4t plus c1. He has given that there is some initial velocity. That means at t is equal to 0, there is some velocity. So we are putting v is equal to u at t is equal to 0 in the equation. When you substitute in this equation, c1 is equal to, then v is equal to t square plus 4t plus u. Write it equal to ds by dt. We know velocity is ds by dt. Separate the terms, integrating both sides. You get s is equal to t cube by 3 plus 4t square by 2 plus ut plus c2. Again, we'll use boundary condition, putting s is equal to 0 and t is equal to 0, which gets you c2 as 0. If c2 is 0, substitute the value of c2, then you get s is equal to t cube by 3 plus 2t square plus 2t. Now, he has given that at t is equal to 1 second, s is 6.3. Just substitute in equation number 2. 6.33, 1 q is equal to 1 cube by 3 plus 2 into 1 square plus u into 1. You get u as 4 meter. This way you arrive at initial velocity, which is unknown as 4 meter per second. Substitute the value of u in the equation number displacement expression. You get s as t cube by 3 plus 2t square plus 4t. At t is equal to 3 seconds, substitute the value of t is equal to 3, you get this displacement covered in 3 seconds. Put t is equal to 2 seconds, you get displacement covered in 2 seconds. You want to find the displacement covered, distance covered in third second. So that will be distance covered in 3 seconds minus distance covered in 2 seconds. So S3 minus S2, that gives you 20 points. So this is a fundamental concept that if you want to find the distance covered in third second, you'll first find distance covered in 3 seconds, and you'll find the distance covered in 2 seconds, and then take the difference of the two. That will get you the distance covered in third second. Now we are moving to the second type of the problem. What is that type? Problems of rectilinear motion at varying acceleration, where acceleration is function of displacement. Remember that, as I told you in the beginning, when acceleration is function of displacement, we have to compulsory write a is equal to v dv by ds, and which gets you vs relation only. Let's see that. Now I read the problem. Acceleration of the particle is defined by the relation a is equal to 25 minus 3x square mm per second square. The particle starts with no initial velocity. That means starts from rest at position x equal to 0. Determine the velocity when x is 2 mm. B, position when velocity is again 0. C, position where velocity is maximum and corresponding maximum velocity. Now students, acceleration is 25 minus 3x square. Write it v dv by dx. Separate the velocity and displacement terms. Integrate both sides. V square by 2 is equal to 25x minus 3x cube by 3 plus c1. Put first set of boundary condition which is given to you, v is 0 and x 0, get c1 0. So your velocity expression becomes like this. First part, he is asking you to find out the velocity when x is 2 mm. Substitute x is equal to 2 mm in this x part. You will get v is equal to plus minus 9.165 mm per second. Right? You need to write both the answers plus minus, because you have no reason to omit negative sign of velocity. Whatever answer is coming plus minus, we have to give it as it is in this type of problem. Second part, he is asking you to find out the value of x when v is 0. Put v is equal to 0. 25x minus x cube is 0. Solve it. You get x equal to 0 or x equal to plus minus 5. x is equal to 0 corresponds to v is equal to 0, which we have already used it as a boundary condition over here. So that is discarded. So plus minus 5 mm is the value of x when velocity is 0. All right. Now students, third part of the sum. Velocity is function of displacement. For v to be maximum, fundamentally, first derivative should be 0, that is dv by dx. And if dv by dx is 0, we know acceleration is v dv by dx. If dv by dx is 0, then we can say acceleration will also be 0. So here you don't need to differentiate velocity expression again with respect to x. Directly acceleration can be taken 0. Acceleration expression is already with us. So we write acceleration expression, we equate it to 0. So two values of x are arrived at. X is plus minus 2.887 m. So we'll check it up, which gives me the maximum velocity. At x equal to plus 2.887 mm, we substituted in the velocity expression and we get Vmax as plus minus 9.81 mm per second. Right? When we substitute the value of x as minus 2.887 mm and we test it for maximum velocity, you find that it comes out to be imaginary roots. Imaginary roots means what? It is not valid. That means at x is equal to plus 2.887, velocity is maximum. So minus value of x, which was minus 2.887 mm, is discarded. So at x is equal to plus 2.887 mm, velocity is maximum, and that is equal to plus minus 9.81 mm per second. So this is what is to be done in this type of problem, students. When acceleration is function of displacement, we have to write it compulsorily v dv by ds. All right, or acceleration is function of the x, v dv by dx. Now we move to the second sum. That's that. Same time. A particle starts from rest from origin and its acceleration is given by a is equal to k upon x plus 4 square meter per second square. Knowing that v is equal to 4 meter per second when x is 8 meter, and find value of k. Second, find position when v is 4.5 meter per second. Third, maximum velocity reached. Now we come here, acceleration is function of displacement, so we write v dv by dx. Separating the terms, you get v velocity and the displacement terms are separated and simplified. Integrating both sides, you get v square by 2 kx plus 4 raised to minus 1 upon minus 1 plus 1. On simplification, it comes like this. First boundary condition is given to you at x equal to 0, v is 0. We substitute in this equation, C1 comes 0.025 k. Second set of boundary condition is given at x equal to 8 meter, velocity is 4. We substitute again the same thing into this. Then C1 value is also substituted, k is arrived at 40. This is also one of the answers. Once you get k as 48, C1 will also be known to you as 0.25 k means what? It is 12. So C1 is 12, we have derived. Now finally velocity expression is like this, v square by 2 is equal to minus 48 upon x plus 4 plus 12. Second part of the sum, he is asking you to find out x value when v is 4.5. So we just substitute value of v as 4.5 and x is arrived as 21.6 meter. Then we come to third. Third part is maximum velocity. As in the previous problem, velocity is function of x. For v to be maximum, first derivative dv by dx should be 0. dv by dx means what? Acceleration should be. What is acceleration? v dv by dx. If dv by dx is 0, acceleration is 0. Acceleration expression is already with us. Only k values to be substituted into that. A is equal to 48 upon x plus 4 square equal to 0. This expression is valid, has to be valid, will be valid only when value of x is infinite. So in this type of the problems, which are more or less mathematical problems, if you come across the odd value like this, see x is infinite. So I'll not say that it's not valid or something like this. If x is infinite, I'll find the maximum velocity at x equal to infinite only. X is equal to infinite, Vmax square by 2 is equal to minus 48 upon infinity plus 4 plus 12. With this, if in the denominator you have infinity, then this term vanishes. This term vanishes. Then we are left out with what? Vmax square by 2 is equal to 12, or Vmax square is plus 24, which gets you the value of Vmax as plus minus 4.9 meter per second. So whatever answer comes in this problem, you cannot test it whether right or wrong. You have to just give it as it is. Like in this problem, we found that velocity is maximum at x equal to infinite. So at x equal to infinite only, we found the maximum velocity. Okay, now we come to the third sum. Third sum of the term. Rectilinear motion of a particle. Rectilinear motion of a particle is defined by the equation on v cube is equal to x square. Determine the velocity and acceleration at x equal to 8. What is given, students, here? V cube is x square. So at x equal to 8 meter, you can simply find the velocity. What velocity comes? 4 meter per second. All right. You want to find acceleration expression. You are given with v cube is x square. So v is equal to x raised to 2 by 3. dv by dx is 2 by 3 x raised to minus 1 by 2. Acceleration is v dv by dx. Put the value of v x raised to 2 by 3 into dv by dx 2 by 3 x raised to minus 1 by 3. Acceleration is 2 by 3 x raised to 1 by 3. Put x value 8 meter, acceleration 2 by 3. Put the value of x 8, you'll get 1.333 meter per second square. So in this, velocity was given to as function of x, right? We got the value of v in terms of x. We got dv by dx. Then we got acceleration as v dv by dx. We substitute the value of v and dv by dx in terms of x, and then acceleration expression is arrived. And then we substitute the value of x, we got acceleration. Next problem is on the right side of the same PPT. Now we are reading fourth problem of the type. Acceleration of the particle is defined by a is equal to minus kx. Determine the value of k such that v is 15 meter per second when x is 0 and v is equal to 0 when x is 3 meters. So he has given two set of boundary conditions. One is x equal to 0, v 15, and x equal to 3, v is 0. Speed of the particle when x is 2 meter. Now we are given a is equal to minus kx. When acceleration is given function of x, we have to write v dv by dx. Separate the velocity and displacement terms. Integrate both sides. So you get v square by 2 is equal to minus k x square by 2 plus 0. We put the first set of boundary condition. What is that? V is 15 and x is 0. Put the value of v 15 and x as 0. You get c1 as 112.5. You arrive at v square by 2 is equal to minus k x square by 2 plus 112.5. At x equal to 3 meter, v is 0. At x equal to 3 meter, velocity is 0 that we are substituting. We put the second set of boundary condition into it, you get value of k. Once value of k is, the reason of giving two set of boundary condition in the given problem was that only. So that one is the constant of integration, unknown, and another unknown is what? Constant of expression, that is k. Now, with the second set of boundary condition, value of k, the constant of expression is arrived. Then we substitute the value of k and c1 into velocity expression. Finally, velocity expression is arrived in this form. Put x equal to 2 meter, you find velocity as 11.18 meter per second. So this way, friends, we have covered 5 problems on type 1 and we have covered 4 problems on type 2. Now we are ready to move to the third type. What is third type, students? Third type is what? Problems of rectilinear motion at varying acceleration where acceleration is function of velocity. Students, let me first explain to you the basic part of it. Whenever acceleration is given in terms of v, you can write it equal to v dv by dx if you want v acceleration, or you can write it also equal to dv by dt if you want vt relation. So I'm discussing my first problem, reading that. For a particle in rectilinear motion, acceleration is given as minus 0.05 v square. Given v is 20 meter per second, x equal to 0, that is boundary condition. Find x at v is equal to 15 and acceleration as x equal to 15. You are given acceleration as function of velocity, right? V dv by dx. Separate velocity and displacement terms. Integrating both sides. you get expression x is equal to minus 20 log v C1. Putting x equal to 0, v is 20 into it, you get C1. Once you get C1, displacement expression becomes like this. Put v is equal to 15, you get x. In the second part, put x equal to 50, you have to get v. Here, students, when you x equal to 50, you'll get the value of v. You have to simplify it, and you have to take anti-log also. In your calculators, shift of log natural is anti-log function. You get value of v, and if you put x equal to 50 in acceleration expression, we get the value of v. Value of v is substituted in the acceleration expression here. You get the value of a like this. Now we move to the second problem of type 3. Acceleration of the train starting from rest at any instant is given by expression a is equal to 8 upon v square plus 1, where v is velocity of the train in meter per second. Velocity of train, find velocity of train when its displacement is 20 meter and displacement when velocity is 64.8 km. Student, acceleration is given 8 upon v square plus 1. If you read the problem, you need to have the relationship between v and x. So we write again still v dv by ds. Separate the terms of velocity and displacement, you get it like this. Integrating both sides, you get it like this. Now putting s is equal to 0 and v is equal to 0, that is set of boundary condition, you get C1 as 0. Then 8s is equal to v raised to 4 by 2 plus v square by 2. Put s is equal to 20 meter. Your expression of velocity comes like this. Students, at this stage, it becomes a quadratic equation for v square. You need to solve this quadratic equation using your calculator for v square. The two values of v will be arrived at. V square, one will be negative, one is positive. Then if you take square root, you get v as 4.931 meter per second. In the second part, you have to put the value of v in meter per second. He has given in kmph, so 64.8 upon 3.6, you get it into the meter per second. Students, this conversion is 3.6 is nothing but 18 upon 5, right? To convert kilometer per kmph to meter per second, you have to divide it by 3.6, and to convert meter per second into kmph, we can multiply by 3.6. Okay, so we got the velocity in meter per second by dividing kmph by 3.6, and then we substitute the value of v, and s is arrived at. S is arrived at. So the same problem, suppose he was asking you to find out the time corresponding to velocity. Suppose in the same problem or in the previous problem, he was asking you the time corresponding to velocity. So we could have written in this problem a is equal to dv by dt instead of v dv by ds, so that vt relation will be arrived at. So this is all about my second lecture on kinematics of particle, part 1, where we are covering the rectilinear motion. In my previous lecture, I had covered rectilinear motion at constant acceleration, including the problems of rectilinear motion at constant velocity. In this lecture, I have covered 5 problems on type 1, where acceleration is function of time. In type 2, where acceleration is function of displacement, 4 problems I've discussed. And type 3, where acceleration is function of velocity, 2 problems have been discussed. With this, entire concept of rectilinear motion at varying acceleration has been covered. But still, if you want to refer to more problems, you can refer to my book on engineering mechanics, right? The details of the book are given in the description of the videos in the beginning. All right, book is available on Amazon as well as on local bookstores, right? MCQs are also given at the end of every chapter in my book, right, which are going to be very, very useful when the online examinations are conducted. Even some more solved problems are given in the textbook, and even unsolved problems are also given in the textbook. I have covered maximum number of problems covering the entire concept, but still to refer the, if you want to refer more problems, you need to refer to my book. All right. Next lecture of mine will be on the same continuation of the same chapter. It is going to be on motion diagram. Next lecture will be on motion diagram for rectilinear motion at constant velocity, constant acceleration, and varying acceleration. Okay, students, thank you very much.